I just got back from seeing the Joker. I have some thoughts. Actually, it's not the Joker, it's Joker. This movie was great. I can illustrate this by as a story about after the movie was over. Somewhere around the 45-minute mark, something happened in the movie, and I won't. This is gonna be a spoiler-free review or spoiler-free, review, or whatever. I'm probably gonna do another one with spoilers because I really want to get specific on a few of these things. Because as a lifelong comic book reader, I feel like I want to say these things. But there's something that happens about the 45-minute mark, and it was so jarring to me as a lifelong comic book reader. I had to shift my position in my chair, and I guess I sat in a weird way, and my leg was contorted in a certain way. I was kind of leaned to the side, kind of leaning on my armrest, looking at the screen, and I did not move. I did not move. I don't think I moved the rest of the movie, because when I stood up, it wasn't like my leg was asleep. It's like my leg had been in a position that is not natural for my leg. So when I took my first step, man, something in my joint just went, pain went my leg. I go, oh man, what have I done to my leg, But like 2 minutes later, it went away. So I don't know if it was just I don't know what it was. It was crazy. But I did not move. There were certain things in this movie that I would have changed. There are two things in the movie that I'll get to in the next video that took me out of the experience. So whenever you make a movie, you're supposed to do it in such a way that people go into the movie. They place themselves among the crowd or right next to your protagonist or antagonist. They should be right there in the moment experiencing these things. And if you do that for 2 hours, you've done your job as a director. There are certain things you do as a director or a screenwriter or as an actor that take the audience member out of the movie. Those times when you've been sitting there watching a movie and it's like, oh, I'm watching a movie. You're not into the movie because something happened. Two things. One of them was a take on a certain character. And this was a character that has history in comic books. It's not like Bob from the original Batman movie, Tim Burton Batman movie, who was the Joker's, Jack Nicholson's main henchman. He's not in the comics. You can write him any way you want to. You can play that character any way you want to. Certain characters have history, and the way this one character was portrayed did not ring true. It did not. And I understand why he did it, but I'll get into that in the second video. But the other thing was, it was, I'll say, political. And there's an underlying political message in this movie that's needed for the story. The other thing was kind of, it just took me out of the story. Other than that, I wouldn't change a thing about this movie. Joaquin Phoenix, is this a masterpiece movie? No, it's not. It's about a 9.25 on a scale of 1 to 10. Joaquin Phoenix does a phenomenal. He does a masterpiece job. This is a masterful performance of. It's not even arguable. The Joker is the greatest comic book supervillain of all time. All time. It's not even debatable. That's a Herculean task in itself, and he portrays him in a way that, man, there's times in this movie where I'm like going, it's crazy how good it is. And I can't say enough about the directing either. Because, he does it on the screen, but he's being directed, and the writer of the script, fantastic job. There's a few things, I just want to go through them. So, this is spoiler-free. There's not going to be anything in this that's just going to take you away from the actual story. I want to talk about the music. The music that sometimes there is like music you turn radio on and hear it on the radio in your car. But then it slowly morphs into the soundtrack, and it gets dark and foreboding. There's times when you don't even realize the music, but there's really nothing else going on the screen. It's what Alfred Hitchcock called pure cinema. Nobody's saying anything, but so much is happening on screen. And the way Joaquin Phoenix acts this movie or portrays the Joker, and even his character prior to that, which is named Arthur Fleck, and the way he portrays him and the transition he goes through is masterful. This is not the Joker you see in the first Batman movie, or in The Dark Knight, or even in the Batman the Animated Series. This is him. Or even Suicide Squad. Jared Leto's character. That guy was nuts. That guy was absolutely nuts. He's not nuts in this movie. He's the beginning of what he will become, and he's still dangerous, but only because he exists in a world where he doesn't exist yet. And it kind of makes mention of that in the movie, where he feels like he doesn't really feel like he ever existed. And he's able to do some of the things in this movie because nobody knows who the Joker is. He's not really a thing yet. He will be, but not yet. And that provides him a level of anonymity where it just allows him to do whatever he wants. There are certain times in this movie you're not really sure what's going on because it's from his perspective, and even he doesn't know what's going on. There's been a lot of talk how you feel sympathy for him, and I think a lot of that's unfounded. I think a lot of people are just people are uneasy with mental illness. Nobody talks about mental illness anymore. Everybody starts out as a beautiful baby. Everybody does. Even the most horrible serial killers were once babies, and they were very loving. They were playful. Children don't have these thoughts. So everybody's sympathetic at one point or another, but everybody has to start somewhere. And as we come to this point where he is already well on his way to some kind of breakdown, and it's alluded to, he's probably already had one already. So he's very much a sympathetic character in the way that anybody who has to exist in this world and is kind of downtrodden is sympathetic. That goes away pretty quick, though. I've got a top 10 list of my top 10 favorite movies, and no movie is on my top 10 list unless I've watched it 50 times. I'm a re-watcher of movies, especially movies I like. I bet I've watched John Carpenter's The Thing probably 150, 200 times in my life. Easy. It's on my top 10. The Empire Strikes Back is the same way. I don't know if I can watch this movie that many times, because probably a great compliment to the movie is, I got it the first time. I got it. It's in your face. It's like, this is what happened, and it's still, to this moment, I'm thinking about it, and I want to talk to somebody about it, and it's just, wow, I can't say enough about it. I got it the first time. Not to say I won't watch it again. I'm sure there's things in it that I want to watch, that I want to see again, and I want to. There was no surprises. Like, there are some things in the movie that the seeds are planted for these things early on, kind of like these plot twists. And I saw it coming. As it's happening, I go, I think this is something that's going to be twisted, in about 30 minutes in the movie, and it was, but it's done very well. It's really well. You feel the tension, even though you know it's coming. It's a great sign of a great movie and a great plot twist. You see it coming, and it still grabs you. It's still like, oh man, it's super uncomfortable. There were a few things that took me out of the movie. I didn't like those things. Other than that, it's really good. I can't recommend this movie enough. I think people who don't read comic books will still like this movie because everybody knows who the Joker is, right? Everybody knows who the Joker is. Everybody knows Jack Nicholson. Everybody knows Heath Ledger. And now, just like when Heath Ledger was first announced, I go, I don't know if I'm too crazy about that. When I heard Joaquin Phoenix was going to do this, I go, yeah, he kind of is that kind of guy. Yeah, I could totally see him being the Joker. So anyway, Joaquin Phoenix did a fantastic job. Loved it. Go see the movie. It's great. This is the first of 2 videos. The next video is going to be spoiler loaded. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you later.